We live in a time where slowing down feels almost rebellious, like breaking an unwritten law. Modern culture has conditioned us to measure the value of life through productivity. How much we achieve, how busy we appear, how fast we move from one task to another. But this race is not just fast, it's exhausting. From the moment we wake up, we are flooded with demands, notifications, deadlines, and the subtle pressure to keep running. Busyness has become a badge of honor, while calmness is often mistaken for laziness. Yet, what if we've been deceived? What if the endless pursuit of efficiency and accomplishment is nothing more than a trap? An endless race with no finish line. A cycle that promises fulfillment, but more often leaves us with burnout, anxiety, and the unsettling feeling of being strangers to ourselves. This is where the philosophy of slow living enters, not as an excuse for idleness, but as an act of wisdom. To live slowly is to reclaim the dignity of time, to shift from merely filling our days to fully inhabiting them. The age of speed gave us convenience, but also alienation. It gave us abundance, but robbed us of presence. We became so focused on producing and consuming that we forgot what it actually means to be alive. Slow living is not a trend. It is a necessity. It's an invitation to honor time, not as something to be optimized, but as something to be cherished. To remember that the deepest form of living is not in how much we do, but in how much of ourselves we bring into each moment. In this video, we'll explore the roots of this philosophy, uncover its principles, dismantle the myths around it, and reflect on the wisdom of Henry David Thoreau, whose work Walden stands as a timeless reminder that by living with less, we may actually live with much more. From childhood, we are conditioned to equate worth with productivity. The student who brings home good grades is celebrated as responsible. The teenager who fills every hour with sports, courses, and commitments is called promising. The adult who lives on deadlines and sleepless nights is admired as successful. The cult of productivity seeps quietly into every corner of life. It doesn't just shape what we do, it shapes who we believe we are. And the cost of this conditioning is heavy. We begin to treat ourselves like machines. Our self-esteem becomes tied to the number of tasks we finish, goals we hit, or emails we send. Time stops being something lived. It becomes something managed, monetized, optimized. And in the process, we lose something essential, the simple right to be. In a culture that worships busyness, silence looks suspicious. Rest feels lazy. Simply existing feels wasteful. We live inside an invisible prison where pausing feels like guilt, and slowing down immediately triggers that voice. I should be doing something useful right now. But useful according to whom? Who decided that our value is measured by output? That rest must be earned only through exhaustion. We've been led to believe that a meaningful life is a full life, full of achievements, full of activity, full of doing. But how much of this fullness is chosen freely? And how much is just compliance with a system that rewards obedience, even when it drains us? This is where the philosophy of slow living confronts us. It asks us to question the false equation between productivity and personal worth. It dares us to believe that we don't have to earn the right to rest or to enjoy the present moment. Perhaps life isn't meant to be a marathon of accomplishments, but a journey of meaning. And perhaps doing less, when done with presence and intention, can transform us more deeply than doing more on autopilot ever could. It is a radical thought because it threatens the very foundation of how society defines success. The structure of contemporary life is built on acceleration, on constant performance, on the demand to never stop. And yet, that is precisely why slowing down has become so necessary. Because deep inside, we all know what we hesitate to admit. Something in the way we live is profoundly broken. We are tired, overwhelmed, and disconnected, pretending that this exhaustion is normal. But what if normality itself is the problem? What if slowing down is not indulgence, but sanity? In the next part, we will explore what it truly means to live slowly, not as an escape from modern life, but as a way to reconnect with what is most essential within it. Talking about slow living in a culture obsessed with speed is almost subversive. The moment the idea is mentioned, reactions arise. This is for people without responsibilities. It's just an escape from reality. It's a privilege only for those who can afford it. But these objections say more about our collective conditioning than about the philosophy itself. Slow living is not laziness. It is not unproductivity. It is certainly not about withdrawing from life. It is, in fact, the opposite. It is about engaging with life more fully, deeply, courageously, intentionally. Living slowly doesn't mean dragging through tasks in slow motion. It means choosing what truly matters and doing it with presence. It means stepping out of automatic mode and entering conscious mode. It is about turning everyday routines into meaningful rituals. Take eating, for example. It is not only a biological necessity, it is an opportunity for connection. Connection with our food, with our bodies, with the people around us. And yet, how often do we eat distracted? Scrolling through phones, answering emails, rushing to finish so we can get back to what supposedly matters. But then, what really does matter? The philosophy of slow living invites us to flip the equation. Instead of quantity, quality. Instead of accumulation, depth. Instead of haste, presence. This reversal may sound simple, but it requires a deep inner restructuring, because we have been trained to equate more with better. For many, slowing down feels like giving up, but it is not giving up. It is a choice. It is choosing to do less, but to do it with soul. It is choosing a single meaningful conversation over 1,000 shallow exchanges. It is choosing to live, not faster, but deeper. It is choosing to do less, but to do it with soul. It is choosing a single meaningful conversation over 1,000 shallow exchanges. It is choosing to live, not faster but deeper. If this philosophy resonates with you, if it feels like something worth reflecting on, consider subscribing and sharing this video so more people can join this conversation about living with presence, intention, and depth. To live slowly is to give full attention to what we are doing, rather than scattering the mind across 10 open windows. But it's important to understand, slow living is not a rigid formula. It doesn't prescribe a universal pace, because the right pace is the one that honors your own inner rhythm. For some, this might mean moving to a smaller city, riding a bicycle instead of driving, or reducing work hours. For others, it may simply mean beginning the day without reaching for a phone, eating without rushing, or carving out moments for silence. The point is not in the form, it's in the awareness. Slow living is not about doing less for the sake of less. It is about living with intention. It is about stepping off autopilot and taking the wheel of your own life. And here lies a crucial truth. Living slowly does not mean living less intensely. It means living more deeply. That depth reveals a hidden richness, beauty in the smallest gestures, poetry in the routines we often overlook, and freedom in the simplicity we tend to forget. And so we arrive at a turning point. We've unmasked the culture of haste, questioned the myth of productivity, and remembered that life's true richness is not found in constant doing, but in conscious being. This is not the end of the journey, only the halfway mark. The second part will take us deeper, exploring how slow living is not just a personal choice, but an act of resistance, a way of reclaiming freedom in a world that profits from our exhaustion. If what you've heard so far resonates, take a moment to subscribe, leave a like, and share this video with someone who needs this reminder. That way, you won't miss the next chapter. And together, we can spread a philosophy that has the power to change the way we live. See you in part 2, where we continue this path from speed to presence, from survival to true living.